text to columns is supposed to be the easy button. You select a column, click split, and everything lines up. But when it fails in the most annoying ways. Names shift into the wrong columns, numbers turn into dates, or half the rows don't split at all. The good news is that most text-to-columns not working problems come from a small set of causes: hidden characters, mixed delimiters, inconsistent patterns, and Excel guessing the wrong data type. If you can identify which one you have, the fix is usually quick and repeatable. In this walkthrough, you'll get a practical checklist. You'll learn how to diagnose the delimiter, clean the text, control data types, and handle messy real-world strings like CSV-ish data, copied web tables, and merged fields. By the end, you'll be able to split reliably, even when the data looks inconsistent at first glance. Next step. Before fixing anything, get clear on what not working means. There are a few common failure modes. One is nothing happens, where the wizard runs but the output looks identical. Another is misaligned columns, where some rows split into 3 pieces and others split into 5, so everything shifts. A third is wrong values, where zip codes lose leading zeros, long IDs show up in scientific notation, where dates flip month and day. And then there's the classic "it splits but not where I need," usually caused by extra spaces or a delimiter that isn't actually a normal comma or space. Your goal is to categorize the problem first, because each category has a different fastest fix. In the next scenes, you'll use a simple workflow: inspect the raw characters, normalize the text, pick the right split method, and lock the data type before Excel tries to be helpful. Next step. Start with the delimiter question, because Excel can only split on what it can detect. Many datasets look comma-separated, but the comma might be a different character, like a semicolon, or a comma followed by a non-breaking space. Some exports use tabs, especially when copied from PDFs or web pages. Others mix commas and pipes. A quick test is to use find and replace on the column. Try finding a comma, a semicolon, a tab, and a double space. If find can't locate what you think is there, you're dealing with a lookalike delimiter or a hidden character. Also watch for inconsistent quoting, like values wrapped in quotation marks. Text to columns doesn't fully behave like a strict CSV parser, so quotes can trip you up. Once you know the real delimiter, you can choose delimited versus fixed width with confidence. Next step. If your split points look random, spacing is usually the culprit. Regular spaces are easy, but many sources include non-breaking spaces, which look identical yet don't behave the same. The practical fix is to normalize white space before splitting. Use trim to remove leading and trailing spaces and collapse repeated spaces. If trim doesn't solve it, swap out non-breaking spaces using substitute with char 160 replaced by a normal space. Then trim again. Another common issue is space after delimiter, like comma space, which creates empty-looking fragments. In that case, replace comma space with comma first, or split on comma and then trim the results. The key idea is simple. Text to columns works best on standardized text. Spend 1 minute cleaning, and you save 10 minutes of manual repair. Next step. Now let's tackle mixed delimiters where some rows use commas and others use semicolons, or a dash in some places and a slash in others. Text to columns can't choose multiple delimiters in one run unless you pre-standardize. The fastest approach is to convert all equivalent separators into one delimiter. For example, replace semicolons and pipes with commas. Replace slash with commas, if that makes sense for your data. If you need to keep certain characters, be selective. Replace only when surrounded by spaces, or only the first occurrence. Another strategy is a 2-pass split. First split on the most reliable delimiter, then split one of the resulting columns again. Mixed delimiters are not rare in CRM exports, address fields, and product descriptions. Your goal is consistency, even if you have to create it. Next step. Sometimes delimited is the wrong tool because the data isn't separated by a character, it's separated by position. Think of fixed-length codes, reports exported from older systems, or columns that line up visually with spaces. In those cases, fixed width is the better choice. The trick is to make the positions consistent first. If the source uses variable spacing, normalize it by replacing multiple spaces with a single space, or by using a monospaced export if you control the source. When you set break lines in fixed width, You're telling Excel, split after character 10, then after character 18, and so on. It's extremely reliable when the pattern is stable. If your breaks drift by row, that's a sign the source isn't truly fixed width, and you should go back to cleaning or delimiter standardization. Next step. A big reason text-to-columns breaks is Excel's auto-conversion. You split a column and suddenly 0304 becomes a date, 00123 becomes 123, and long numbers turn into scientific notation. The fix is to control the data format inside the wizard. When you reach the final step, click each output column and set the correct column data format. Use text for IDs, zip codes, SKUs, and anything where leading zeros matter. Use date only when you're sure of the incoming order, like DMY versus MDY. If you're unsure, import as text first, then convert deliberately with formulas. This one habit prevents most my data change surprises. It also protects things like version numbers, timestamps, and account numbers that look numeric but are not meant to be treated as math. Next step. Another common trap is the destination range. Text-to-columns overwrite cells to the right. If there's anything there, Excel warns you, and people often cancel or choose a bad destination. A cleaner approach is to split into empty columns, or copy the source column to a scratch area first. Also, watch for merge cells. If your data sits in a range with merged cells, splitting can behave unpredictably or be blocked. Unmerge first, then fill blanks if needed, then split. And if your data set is in an Excel table, that's usually fine, but make sure you have enough empty columns in the table for the output. The goal is to give the split room to land, so you can evaluate the results without destroying nearby data. Next step. If some rows split and others don't, you likely have invisible characters. The usual suspects are line breaks, tabs, and non-printing characters from web pages, PDFs, or system exports. You can clean many of these with clean, which removes a set of non-printable characters. For line breaks, use substitute to replace char 10 and char 13 with a space or your chosen delimiter. For tabs, replace char 9. A practical workflow is create a helper column, apply cleaning formulas, then copy and paste values back over the original before running text to columns. That way, the split operates on a sanitized version of the text. This is especially important for multi-line addresses, notes fields, and copied email content. Next step. Let's talk about merged fields, where multiple pieces of information are jammed together with no clear delimiter. Examples are city ST 12345, or last name first name, or INV 2026 000381 US. Text to columns can still help, but you need an anchor. If there's a predictable pattern, use fixed width. If there's a predictable character change like a dash before the number, split on that first. If the anchor is a known word or code, use find and replace to insert a delimiter before splitting. Sometimes the best approach is formulas, left, right, mid, and find to extract pieces based on positions. For more complex patterns, you may need flash fill or power query. But even then, the mindset is the same. Create a reliable boundary. Next step. A special case is decimals and list separators, because Excel settings vary by region. In some locales, a comma is the decimal separator, and semicolon is the list separator. That means a file that uses commas might not split as expected, or it might split numeric values incorrectly. If you receive data from different systems, check whether numbers use 1234.56 or 1.234.56 formatting. If the delimiter conflicts with your decimal format, standardize the text first. For example, temporarily replace decimal commas with a placeholder, split on semicolons, then restore decimals. Or convert the delimiter to a character that won't appear in numbers, like a pipe. Split, then convert back. It sounds tedious, but it's far faster than fixing thousands of rows by hand. Next step. If your data looks like CSV, text to columns can work, but it has limits with quoted commas. For example, a company name like Acme Inc., inside quotes should stay together, but text to columns may still split it depending on the structure. When you have true CSV rules, quotes, escaped quotes, embedded delimiters, Power Query is often the safer tool because it parses structured text more reliably. Another alternative is importing via data tools, so Excel treats it as a file format, not just a string in a cell. Still, if you must use text to columns, a workaround is to temporarily replace commas inside quotes using a more advanced approach, then split, then restore. The larger lesson is, match the tool to the structure. Text to columns is great for simple, consistent separators. Next step. Here's a repeatable checklist you can run in under 2 minutes. First, confirm the real delimiter with find. Second, normalize whitespace with trim and, if needed, char 160 replacement. Third, remove hidden characters like tabs and line breaks. Fourth, standardize mixed delimiters into one. Fifth, choose delimited or fixed width based on whether boundaries are characters or positions. Sixth, set every output column's data type deliberately, especially text for IDs. And finally, split into empty space so you can validate results without overwriting anything important. If you follow that order, you'll solve the majority of split errors without guessing. And you'll build a habit that makes future imports painless, even when the source changes slightly from month to month. Next step. To wrap up, text to columns isn't fragile, it's just literal. It splits on exactly what's there, and it converts types based on guesses unless you tell it otherwise. When it doesn't work, the data is usually inconsistent, not the feature. Use the checklist. Identify the delimiter, clean hidden characters, standardize separators, pick the right split mode, and lock the output format. If you want one habit that pays off immediately, it's setting output columns to text before you click finish. If this was useful, subscribe for more Excel workflows that prevent cleanup problems before they start. And for a quick sanity check, leave a comment with your biggest text to columns pain point. Is it mixed delimiters or Excel converting your IDs? I'm always testing new ways to work smarter. Subscribe to see what workflow I'm breaking down next.